What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be talking about Star Expedition and what the new top tier damage team actually looks like. And it is very different than what you've seen in the past. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to show you guys what the team looks like, how you actually set it up. I can't personally do it because I'm not even like whaley enough, but I figured maybe it can work out even if you don't have like certain numbers. Speed does matter with this setup though. There's a couple things you do need to make sure are done correctly. And then after that, you can kind of profit and maybe do really insane damage. Like we're talking 7 trillion without a 4-star imprint. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so this is the damage that I was talking about here. Yes, that is hundreds, millions, billions, 7 trillion damage, which everybody else is pretty much irrelevant. And you can see really even like the copies are just B copies. They're probably a couple decent homeowners. The one thing is this Vesa has an insane amount of attack, even more attack than my Vesa has right now. But let's talk about what they have. So Fairy Queen Vesa, you're going to be running something along the lines of a crit attack stone. Now enables are going to be very interesting for her. It's going to be 2-2-2-2-1. So you're using Balanced Strike. You're using, the big one is the E3 enable. Because of what you're going to be running as far as imprints go for Star Expedition, you can afford not to use Purify for this hero, which is pretty solid because you're going to have a way to remove CC effects anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And then, of course, you're going to want to run crit damage, and armor break as her void imprints, essentially. And, of course, in Splendid Antlers Cane. The typical type, but except more running more crit chance and stuff like that. The second one is going to be this Mystic Fairy Freya here. So this is where it gets really interesting and kind of tricky. You're going to want to run Demon Bells on all these heroes, of course, just feeding energy over and over to the Vesa so she has an active every turn. She's going to run 1-1-6-1-2 setups. If you do need to, you can run like a Crown or MSS or something like that if the boss HP is too low. But I wouldn't really, I'd stick with just Demon Bells on just about every one of these heroes, to be honest. Speed HP Stone, you're going to want her as fast as possible because this Mystic Fairy Freya needs to be faster than Fairy Queen Vesa for this to kind of work out. That is one really big thing. Just a note, just so you know, this Vesa right here had 6 million attack, and yet they still managed to get this hero here, the Mystic Fairy Freya, faster. That's the tricky part. Pretty much everybody else, Ignis, Olivia, everything, they're running HP stones. The one thing that's of note is that everybody except for Fairy Queen Vesa is running the 6th E3 imprint for the attribute reduction Purify. And then there's the Destroyer in here. Don't really know what the Destroyer is for, to be honest. I'm a little confused on what that actually does. Because if it's for like his death, then it doesn't do too much. But it's interesting. And then, yeah, the one part that we want to talk about here, let's jump in game because we're going to talk about the actual imprints you want to run for this setup. Okay, so let's head on over to Star Expedition. As you guys all know, this is pretty much the standard everybody runs. They get the 4-piece Osis set. They get the 2-piece like Cause for extra holy damage, things like that. Tranquility as well are usually really good ones to grab for the extra attack. That's the default. However, what this is actually going to do is use the 4-piece of the Cause set. Now, you remember I was talking about how you don't need to run Control Purify in the setup, and that's because you're running the 4-piece of Cause. At the beginning of each round, remove self all control effects. Right there, don't need Purify. Then additionally, for each type of control effect remove, you're going to restore self 5% max HP. That's not really important, but you also increase self-attack 25% for 2 rounds. That is what's really good here. Being able to start stacking that up so that if you reliably get CC'd, honestly, you're going to have 50% bonus attack. That is a ton. The other thing you want to go for, and this is of course the 2-piece tranquility, because that's going to give attack, and attack is king in this situation. The other thing you want to try to run is, I believe it's persuasion, so the purple one here. What persuasion is going to give is some holy damage, just a little bit extra. Honestly, I don't know if I know tranquility is like the GG one here, but besides that, foresight is what? Crit damage. You could use that, but I think you might be capping out on that. Tranquility, of course, is good, and then destiny is crit chance. Probably don't need that as much because you're running a ton of crit and crit damage already on the Fairy Queen Vesa. It might just be like some overkill, but that is essentially the setup you're going to go for. Now, as you see, we have the standard typical setup for our own team. I'll show you guys how that kind of compares for a little bit of a reference here. We're just going to go in with our normal lineup, and you'll see the Ignis setup works pretty solid. The one big bonus too of running the other setup that we're talking about here is the fact that you can run the snake pet as well, and the snake will synergize with Mystic Fairy Freya's poison and give you that stacking 80% buff. So you know, like you've always run like Eos and Vesa with the Phoenix, because then you'll have that burn debuff to actually really benefit from the 80% bonus that you're stacking up. Well, the same thing is going to happen with the Mystic Fairy Freya setup. I'm not really sure how much damage we're doing here. The silence always feels bad. I think we'll get the kill. Yeah, we got the kill right at the end. So, you know, we're doing about 2.1. But that's only like a third of the damage, maybe even almost like more like a quarter of the damage that you're seeing other people perform and get. So we got a full health bar. Let's smash this out. Let's see how this actually goes here. I mean, like, we're still doing pretty respectable numbers. There's a lot of RNG that goes into this team that I feel like doesn't go into this new setup that we've seen. But this is still very, very solid damage for us. I think we're going to do one more hit today, maybe. Where are we ranking up? We're number 2. Yeah, let's just do one more hit. And I think, we're actually... Maybe I should save my hit. Nah, I mean, we just did literally, what, 86% of a health bar? Yeah, maybe we should wait and let someone else finish it and then use our attack on the big one, because I mean, that's a lot of points. There's a lot of points, and that's one strategy with this too, is making sure you use your attacks at the right time and don't waste damage. If you're one of your power hitters, don't hit when it gets too low. Let other people finish it off, and then you can do another really big hit. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you guys think about the new setup. It's just gonna be really hard to get Mystic Fairy Freya faster while also having Vesa be this overwhelming powerhouse. So see you guys next time.